Right guys, straight in, no kissing. Today is a full day of eating and training with 12 days left of the year for me to tick off my 180 kilo paused bench press. So the first thing that we're going to do this morning is my morning stack. And as a natural lifter, that is of course going to include beta alanine and some creatine. Beta alanine is a supplement that the current research on isn't strong enough to recommend it as foolproof a supplement as something like creatine, but it is something that the evidence is there to suggest that in high intensity bouts of exercise that exceeds, I believe, 10 seconds. It's either 10 seconds or a minute. I need to check that. But that prolonged supplementation of somewhere between 3 to 6 grams a day over the course of several weeks, so I believe it's somewhere up to a month, can yield slightly marginal improvements in exercise performance. Now, there is unfortunately two major drawbacks to supplementing with beta alanine. Number one is your face might start itching. Number two is the fact that it's not the most pleasant to drink in a drink by itself. So make sure that you put dilute or something to really mask the taste of it. I guess you can't really taste it. So it's actually bouts of exercise in excess of 1 minute. So it wouldn't really apply to, for example, a 1 rep max effort in the gym, but it might apply to someone who's doing sort of CrossFit or high rock style workouts. You could possibly benefit from beta alanine supplementation over a prolonged period of time. But it's one of these things like creatine, you need to be taking it consistently to see a benefit from it. And if you stop taking it for a certain period of time, slowly but surely, the amount of beta alanine in your system will start to dwindle. I also want to take this opportunity to discuss how my attempt to run a sub 150 half marathon last Sunday actually went. It went fucking super. Not only did I do less than 1 hour 50, I did 1 hour 46. So I was absolutely chuffed with that. So the pressure is on to nail off the second of the two goals that I set a couple of months ago, that I wanted to pause bench 180 kg simultaneously to running a sub 150 half marathon. They're two entirely competing goals, but I wanted to prove that improving your strength, because for me, if I can pause bench, or when I pause bench 180 kg, that will be peak strength for me. That'll be as strong as I've ever been on the bench press. And then a half marathon, obviously that was a PB. So to prove that you can improve your fitness, improve your strength with smart programming if you really wanted to. Cheers. Meal number one is pretty much bang on 1,000 calories. We've got 2 cinnamon and raisin bagels, we've got a bit of butter, bit of ketchup, 5 chicken sausages, just because that's what I had left in the freezer, and 2, I think they're large eggs. So that is precisely, according to MyFitnessPal, 978 calories, 60 grams of protein. Not bad. So we have an update on the pre-workout saga. So basically, long story short, the manufacturers fucking hate me. They hate me because I keep coming back with iterations to every sample that they give me. But basically, to list out what's really, really positive about the pre-workout so far is that on 3 consecutive occasions of taking this, I've set massive bench PBs inside in the gym. So that is not to be overlooked. The performance benefit, which is what we want. Essentially, if there was one benefit to get from a pre-workout, it would be the fact that there would be an objective improvement in your performance in taking it in comparison to not taking it. The second thing is that it doesn't make me shit myself whatsoever, so long as I don't eat anything a couple of hours before taking it. But to be honest, there's going to be no pre-workout that allows you to have a full meal and then 45 minutes later double scoop it and not have you shit yourself. It's just the way that it works. So digestibility is great, performance is great. The one thing that this is missing, and I describe it with the words channeled aggression. I want to take this pre-workout and within a couple of minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 20 minutes, but that I start to feel myself become more noticeably locked in on what I'm about to do, locked in on the set, locked in on the exercise. I want, as I said, pure focus, concentration, and I want a sensation of channeled aggression before it comes to attacking the first set of my workout. So that's what we're going back and forth with the manufacturers to try and achieve. It's not an easy task because there is a compound that I would like to use, but it's not approved for use in the EU. It's approved for use in the UK, but it's not approved in the EU. It's an interesting project. There's a lot of iterations being made. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people getting pissed off in the process, but I said to them, I said, I don't care if this costs me even more than, you know, a bog standard fucking typical pre-workout. I said, I want this first and foremost to be the best pre-workout that I've ever taken, because once I have that, you know, promoting it and marketing it is very, very easy, and convincing you to buy it is very, very easy if you do decide to buy it. But I want the best pre-workout that I've ever taken, and I will stop at nothing to achieve it. The only flavor I've gotten in the samples is Blue Raz, so I've just been drinking Blue Raz for like the last 3 weeks straight. Still nice, but I'd like a change up in flavor. Right, so you know the drill. We're at the stage of the workout that I start every YouTube video at. That is, of course, 140 kilos loaded onto the bar. As you know, I assess how fast, quick, easy that this moves before making my decision as to what weight I'll use for my working sets. Right, so a couple of people seem to like the music recommendations that I give. So if you want to start watching every YouTube video and adding a song from every video, I'm going to oblige that request right now. So if you're looking for another song that you could put on to hit a PB, it would be Headstrong by Trapped. Also, update on the 140. It didn't look too quick, but it felt quick. So we're loading on 160. Realistically, I'm going to try and do as many reps as possible. I got 4 2 days ago on Wednesday. I'm going to hope for 5, but we shall see. That was as close to an RPE 20 as you're ever likely to get. There was nothing left to give in that. That was very, very close. That would be the heaviest weight that I'd ever be pinned under, so I wouldn't fancy my chances of rolling that off. It was a lucky escape, but very, very happy with it. Thankfully, on the program is just one top set of 160. I don't think I can manage another one. That fucking last repetition literally went on for, I think, 7 seconds. What we're going to do now is back off sets. So again, back off sets are something that you probably realistically need to be including in your program if you want to get as strong as possible. Top sets are probably not where the bulk of your work should be done. Top sets are top sets for a reason. They shouldn't be the heavily populated types of sets within your program. The back off sets really are where strength is built. So with that in mind, we're going to go for 145 kilos for sets of 5 to 6 paused repetitions, which is going to be realistically a good bit away from failure. But the goal is to just keep that bar speed snappy, quick, build the confidence with it without adding too much fatigue. So when it comes to training, there is so much that I'm still learning on the go. So I'm 12 years into it, and the concept of back off sets are only something I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. I always said, you know, my bread and butter was heavy sets, 3 or 4, in some cases 5 heavy sets of somewhere between 4 and 6 repetitions per set. I look at that, and there's 2 ways in which you could make sense of why I've done so well and been able to, albeit not pause, but still bench press 180 kilos after 8 years of training. And you could say that I have done so in spite of my methods, which may very well be true. But also it would highlight the fact that just because certain things are the ideal way of doing it, or possibly the more optimal way of doing it, it doesn't mean that doing so in a different manner wouldn't yield really, really good results. I choose to decipher the fact that I've been successful in bench press for a number of different reasons. I've enjoyed it, possibly my genetics for pressing are a little bit more superior, but also I just have a capacity to push myself, as you saw on that last rep of 160, very, very far within the confines of each set. So indeed, me doing 3, 4, 5 sets of 4 to 6 heavy repetitions to failure for most of my training career probably did leave a little bit of potential on the table, because if I was to apply the same intensity, the same mindset to each set while doing back-offs over that time frame, possibly I'd be in a situation where I'd benched 200 kilos. Here we are moving on to the accessories component of today's workout. So that's going to be chest supported row. I actually don't know what else is there, but we're going to start with chest supported row. We're not going to do too much pressing today. Actually, that's all the chest pressing that's in today's session, simply because I have 12 days to hit 180 kilo paused. I want to come in, get the stimulus, build up the confidence from the bench press without adding DOMs or soreness or fatigue. It's going to take away from my ability to hit 180 in a couple of days' time. So now we're on to the back to build up the traps, which is essentially, it's the foundation of a solid press. You know, your back is the first point of contact with the bench, so it helps to have it strong. Right, so 4.5 plates was a little bit too easy for 8 reps. So we're gonna have a go at 5. Second last exercise of the session is rear delts, for a similar reason of doing the chest supported row. Rear delts, just going to be a bit of a stabilizer in the bench press. Now, is doing this exercise going to be critical to me nailing 180? No, but it's just an accessory muscle group that I can work on that won't have a directly fatiguing impact on the muscles that are going to be important for that bench press. But still, rear delts being strong, back being strong, solid base, solid stabilizer, solid accessories for that particular movement. So let's do it. We are on to the final exercise of today's session, and that is, of course, going to be some light tricep pushdowns. The key here is to get blood flow into the muscle. It's not to actually push to failure, because the last thing that I want to do, I'm going to be benching again in 3 days on Monday. So the last thing I want is for my chest to feel fresh, but then my triceps to feel sore. 3 sets of this, about 10 repetitions. Well, it's a bit heavy, but my ego won't let me reduce the weight. The plan is as follows. Today is Friday. Monday is when I bench again. And on Monday, I'm going to be, on a conservative estimate, going to go for 165 for 2 pause repetitions. If that feels good, I'm going to go for 170 for 2 pause repetitions. And really, I feel as though 170 is the benchmark. If I can do 2 comfortable pause repetitions on Monday at 170, 180 is in the bag. So I've only ever done 170 for 1 paused repetition. Actually, I think I did 172.5. But if I get 2 at 170, 180 is getting smashed. And the date in which 180 is getting smashed is going to be somewhere around the 29th or the 30th of December. So really, if I fail it then, I'm not going to hit my goal by the end of the year to pause bench 180. So it's squeaky bum time, one might say. Watch the fucking lighting in here. This is unbelievable. And the mural in the back. LeBron James. This is what we're looking like less than a week after the half marathon. So I cut down to morning body weight before carb loading, like 103 kg. But then with carb loading, I assume I started the race at about 105. So since then I've eaten like a fucking pig. I've eaten like every meal was my last. So there's a weighing scales right here. Let's see what it's saying. So the weighing scale says 107.7 kg, but bear in mind, I've got a watch on, 2 phones in my pocket, a pair of shoes, and water and whatnot in my system from today. All in all, this is the physique that is going to annihilate 180 kilo pause bench press at the same time, not at the same time, but 2 weeks after running a 1 hour 46 half marathon. Oosh. We are back from the gym and we're about to cook up meal number 2. So we're going to go with whatever the weight of 2 chicken breasts is. 100 calories worth of oil, give or take. Going to put some Cajun seasoning on the butterfly chicken, or at least the attempted butterfly chicken. And we're also going to go with about 120 grams of raw pasta. So here is meal number 2 in all of its glory. I admit, it is simple, it is shabby, it is not the most appetizing looking thing in the world, but it is fucking easy to make. It's literally pasta, it's chicken, it's a little bit of oil, and it's half a jar of sauce. So there we have just over 1,000 calories and 110 grams of protein. Who would have thunk it? Not me, but I'm already looking forward to meal number 3. I didn't need to put in that last sentence, but I just saw an opportunity to rhyme and well, I took it. The chicken's cooked, which is always a plus. Meal number 3 is going to be a very humble and simple bowl of cereal. Fuck me, how did that turn off at exactly the time? Just look at this. Snickers protein. I'm not going to be one of those, like, you know, those typical influencers who like wank off a new flavor of protein powder, but that's pretty cool. Snickers, it's new white Snickers actually, which is even better. You can use code Sean to get yourself a tub. It's nice. It wouldn't be my personal favorite. I still think I'm a cinnamon guy for protein powder, but if you like Snickers, that'll be for you. Then the pièce de résistance, hopefully they're not gone all fucking grey, but we're going to throw in fuck it, half a pack of raspberries. Fuck it, let's go with the full one. They're going to go off anyway. And to sweeten it up, we're going to go with some honey. So that is about 400 milliliters of milk, 1 scoop of Snickers protein powder, 150 grams of raspberries, 10 grams of honey, 100 grams of basically Lidl's version of crunchy nuts, but they're slightly less sweet. So this meal right here comes out at a whopping 819 calories and 42 grams of protein, bringing my total consumption so far for the day to 2,892 calories and 212 grams of protein. Not 3 bad. As expected, the fucking cornflakes are gone soggy. So the final meal of the day. I couldn't decide on what I wanted. In theory, I wanted 2 more bagels, but I was like, is it a bit much to put 4 bagels in 1 day of eating? Probably. So we're going to go with the bulking smoothie. It's not a typical bulking smoothie. It's a little bit different, and I'll tell you in a second why. So that is 177 grams of, fuck it, we'll make it 180. 180! 180 grams of mixed berries. Frozen berries, by the way. We're going to follow that up with half a serving of mass gainer. I will criticize MYPROTEIN for this. The scoop's too fucking big. It's like something that you'd use to put detergent in a fucking washing machine. So we're going to put in 2.5 scoops. And there's too much powder as well. Sorry, MYPROTEIN. Just giving you my honest feedback. It's just a lot of powder. And, you know, you're going to need a big shaker to be able to cater for, well, just cater for it, really. Then we're going to finish off what's left of the milk. Probably going to have to top that up with a bit of water. It has to be said, though, that is a pretty immaculate texture. The one thing that I will say is don't, if you can help it, berries and chocolate doesn't go the best. It's about the gains, not the taste. Right, so in that we had, give or take, 200 milliliters of milk. We had 180 grams of mixed frozen berries, and we had a half serving of mass gainer, which brings that meal to a grand total of 688 calories and almost 34 grams of protein. That wraps up today's full day of eating. which totals 246 grams of protein, 445 grams of carbs, and a grand total of 3,580 calories. That was pretty easy, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So copy and paste that by all means into your bulking routine so you can get insane gains for not much effort at all. So that wraps up today's YouTube video. For picking up anything from MYPROTEIN, code Sean, GYMSHARK, code Sean10. And I'm also very pleased to announce that at long last, you have the opportunity to join the Fitness one-to-one coaching team without having to wait for another challenge. So I'm going to leave a link to apply in the description of this video, some other free stuff and links and clicks and whatnot as well. And aside from that, thank you very much for tuning in, and we shall see you in the next one. Adios.